10.
Almost 2 decades.
Yeah, yeah.
20
Last
years.
year is 20 years.
Yeah, 21 now. Isn't that fantastic?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have more young women have the opportunity to know about it. So I'm going to tell you guys that a lot of this is streaming live to YouTube, which is a great way to be able to see it. And you guys can catch up. And there are going to be bits and pieces of you not hearing yourselves. And just now, here we go. You're not going to hear some of the things that you did because I either didn't push stream or I got so excited talking to you that I completely forgot to record audio. But that's okay. I got most of it. This is what happens when I multitask, okay? Bad things can happen. So, and I'm not sure if that might have been... Did you hear thunder?
I don't know.
I mean, the lights just flickered. but
Roll
let's hope not.
backwards. Roll backwards, Shreya, and just go open the door. Don't step outside just in case it is thundering and lightning, but just go see if there's anything happening because it was getting dark when I was coming in. We're sending someone out to do the weather test because... When I started to learn how to become a meteorologist, Tom Wills, who is an outstanding television weatherman here in town, said to me, don't ever go on the air without looking out the window.
I mean, that makes sense.
It looks clear? Oh, well, there goes my excuse for not recording. We've got about 8 minutes left, and I want to talk to you just briefly, Seema, if you don't mind. Girls, just take a break. I know you've put out a lot of energy, so regather your thoughts and feelings, and come on back in here, kiddo. We want to make sure that Shreya's mom gets to see her, mom and dad. Everybody look in the camera and wave. Hey, mom and dad. Hey, Kelsey. I know Marsha Weinstein, so thank you for bringing her up. Money.
Mm-hmm.
These are 3 of the young women that you are targeting demographically to start saving now.
Correct.
So I'm assuming you all probably have some sort of job. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do?
Well, actually, I'm not working currently. I did over the summer. I'm going back next summer, but I work at Panera.
Okay. And Shreya?
I was a tutor at Cumberland for about 6 months earlier in the spring.
Speaking French?
No, they only teach math and English, so I could be a French tutor if I was fluent, but
So math
not
and
yet.
English.
Yeah, math
Go
and
on.
English. Mhm.
All right. Madam?
And I currently do not have a job either, but I think I'm going to work at Kumon as well. In the
Are
summer.
you?
These are much cooler than my summer jobs. I took weights and blood pressures at a cardiologist's office. Like, that was not fun. Yeah, but...
I picked berries.
See, that sounds very ethereal, like you're in the world.
It was in Oregon, in the
Yeah,
berry fields.
that
I picked
sounds
berries.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it was. Thank God it wasn't Kentucky because it would be very hot in the berry fields here. Pretty nice that weather there. So they all are working. You're earning probably what, minimum wage?
Yeah, about
If
like
you're
$8.
lucky,
Yeah.
about $8 an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah.
What are you going to tell them to do with the money that they're bringing in right now, based upon a
so
a
this is
paycheck of how much?
One
I
of
don't even know.
one of the statistics that makes my skin crawl. The average 18-year-old who's going into college already has $2,000 of credit card debt. This
Now
is somebody
that's-
that is so young that a parent has to co-sign that credit card.
Yeah, and their parents are letting them spend that money.
So my number one rule of thumb is always, as anybody should do, to live beneath your means.
Right.
And to follow what I call the 60-20-20 rule, which is have all of your fixed expenses. We're talking rent, we're talking food, we're talking when you're 21, beer money, all of those things within, 60% of your income. Then saving always 20% of your income and doing that first.
Yep.
And then lastly, for all the discretionary stuff you want to do, we're talking vacations, we're talking manicures. That's the additional 20% of your income. So I think the big mistake most of us make is instead of figuring out whether or not we can really afford something, we do that retroactively. The one thing I want everybody to do is do that proactively. So pay
Yes.
yourself in the future first by saving 20%. Live within your means by having your fixed expenses be 60% of your income, and then let yourself live a little on 20% that's auxiliary, but make sure that is the last thing that you do. So that would be my words of wisdom. Second thing is when they hand you a credit card on the first day of college, don't take it. It's not good. Run away.
My dad always said to me, "Don't buy anything you can't pay cash for." I don't know.
Well, I
You have
think
to have some sort of credit card experience because that's how you build your credit.
Correct.
But
The world
you-
has changed a lot in that you have to be able to
Right.
prove that you're a good borrower.
But you can also pay it off every month, can't you?
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
And use those points.
Yes, exactly. I get a lot of free Delta Airlines points by using my American Express.
There you
So
go.
I put everything on my American Express every month, and then I pay it all off at the end of the month. Good idea?
Oh, excellent idea.
Yeah.
But if you're not quite there yet, so for the people in the radio universe that, want to get to that point where they're paying off their credit card every month but aren't able to do that, first thing that you should do is meet with somebody and create a debt management plan if you have debt. Don't try and do that by yourself in a vacuum because, trust me, there's a more efficient way.
A debt management plan.
Correct.
Does that mean you're already up the creek and you have to figure out how to get out of it, or
in
what?
either case, most Americans have some form of debt, whether it's good debt or bad debt, whether it's unsecured debt over 20% like a credit card, or whether it's a mortgage or a car note. Most people have some sort of debt in the world, but they don't quite understand how that debt fits into their overall picture. So meet with somebody and figure it out. The second thing to do in any case is if you're having trouble with that budgeting piece, right, staying within your limits, give yourself an allowance and just spend that. So if you want to buy an Apple Watch and it's going to cost you $300, but your adult allowance is only $200 a month, guess what? Like a little kid, you have to save for 2 months to afford the thing you want. So I think just creating
Don't
systems
take
for
it out of
yourself.
savings.
No, and don't put it just on credit because you'll pay it off later because
Exactly.
it's an expensive way to get what you want.
It's called the law of diminishing returns. As my dad said to me, if you put money in the bank, you're getting X percent of interest in your savings account. You're paying like 21% on a credit card, or even higher, 27%.
Depends on how bad your credit is, but yeah.
It is. And, so you're not saving any money by paying a minimum balance on your credit card every month. And people think, oh, I'm doing great. I'm paying a minimum payment every month. No, you're not, because you could have that money in a very cheap savings account and be earning more in interest than you are paying. It's all too complicated. Anyway, what I want to do is thank you guys for coming in. And I really appreciate the advice that you've given.
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that you guys are getting into life at such an early time, saving your money, making sure that you have everything in order. And I really want to thank you for taking time to be here tonight, especially since you got all this stuff at like 10 o'clock last night. You got your instructions. Get into Crescent Hill Radio, represent Louisville Girls Leadership. And that was really cool of you to do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
So delighted. Kendall Beach and Shreya Dodwani and Ed McCool and Seema Sheth.
That's me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. You all hang out for the next, let's say 59 minutes, and I'm going to be back. I have to run home, get the dogs fed, have a little bite myself, and I will be back because I have with me on the show this evening on the Homegrown Radio Hour a lovely man named Dr. Alex Wright. He's a hospitalist and a father and a husband and a musician. He's a singer-songwriter who plays all around town, and he's going to be with us tonight on the Homegrown Radio Hour. It starts at 7 o'clock. It goes to 8, and you'll have the opportunity to get to know this guy a little bit better, as well as hear some of his beautiful music. And the last time he was on, we had a huge, huge response. So we would like to have another one tonight. Tune in to us on the Homegrown Radio Hour starting at 7 o'clock. I will be back. This is Take It From Tara on WCHQ 100.9 FM, Crescent Hill Radio.
You're listening to WCHQ LP, Louisville, Kentucky, 100.9 FM, Crescent Hill Radio. All local music all the time.
It's 77 degrees here in Crescent Hill.
It's 6 o'clock.
Crescent Hill, Crescent Hill, Crescent Hill Radio.com.
Up next, Tyler Mack.
Defy all I know and walk with the reaper down this godforsaken road. Fading shadows far from the light. My grave is shallow like the last breath of my life. I'm not saying you pushed me, but you did let me go. I hope your heart is bleeding like the tears in my soul.